let's talk Virtual Console on the Nintendo Switch. This was a pretty big topic up until about a year ago. Fans repeatedly asked Nintendo if we're going to see GameCube titles released on the Virtual Console, and that's what kind of brought up this big discussion. And it wasn't until about May 2018 where Nintendo confirmed to Kotaku, they said there are currently no plans to bring classic games together under the Virtual Console banner, as has been done on other Nintendo systems. At the time, that kind of stung a little bit. It was one of those expectations that we had because we had seen Virtual Console on the Wii and the Wii U, so it was something that we were kind of expecting. And when they said that, we were a little worried and a little taken back because we wanted to be able to play these classic titles again. In retrospect, this kind of makes a lot of sense because Nintendo was coming out with their online subscription plan, and at that time we didn't really know what those details would entail, what would be offered with that subscription plan. And now we can kind of see that there are classic titles there, and they keep bringing out new games each month. And something that's really cool about this is a little bit of a side note, but they reprogram these classic titles so that you can play with friends online. And I never thought I'd see that day where I could play classic NES titles with a friend online. That's a really big deal, and props to you, Nintendo, for making that happen. That's a dream that is now a reality. But what I would like to talk about today is how the lack of a Virtual Console is a missed opportunity on the Switch platform. So let's dive into this. I'd like to start off by saying I currently don't have an active Nintendo online subscription plan. And I'll tell you why. So it kind of boils down to this. Currently I have a PlayStation and a Nintendo. And I had to think to myself, I don't want to spend a lot of money to play online with friends. The PlayStation Plus plan is $60 a year, and Nintendo is $20, which is significantly cheaper. But I had to think about it, right? It boils down to what are my friends playing on and what are they playing? And ultimately, it was all on PlayStation. So I decided to just strictly pay for the PlayStation Plus subscription service. And it was kind of easy to make that decision because I didn't see value in buying the Nintendo subscription. There are a couple of games that I would like to play online with friends. Tetris 99 would be a lot of fun. Smash Brothers, Mario Kart is a lot of fun for me, but not a lot of my friends are playing it. I'm not big into Splatoon 2. So really, not a lot of people are playing these titles on Switch. At least not enough to merit me to purchase the online subscription plan. I do like the NES titles though, and I do like the idea that I can play with friends with those games. Yet there aren't enough games to entice me. Not enough games that I like and remember and have memories playing, So this is the missed opportunity, right? There's no value in the plan currently, in my mind. In my mind, there's no value. But this is where you can get value. By adding the Virtual Console as part of the online subscription plan. Because here's the thing. The Wii and the Wii U both had the Virtual Console. They had the games, they had the interface, they had it all set up. Really, all you have to do is take your old code, reskin it, upload the games to the server, and then you're ready to go. Now, this isn't an uncommon practice. We see a lot of video streaming services doing this, Netflix and Hulu. This is a popular business model where you have a lot of content, you pay a small annual or monthly fee to view that content. Now, I think that this is what could add value to Nintendo's online subscription service. If I could play all of those classic titles that we once saw on the Wii and the Wii U, that would provide value for me. That would be worth paying the money, even if I'm not playing with my friends online. Now, here's the thing. With the Wii and the Wii U, we never saw GameCube classic titles released in the Virtual Console store. That's one of the things that fans want. We haven't seen the GameCube in almost 20 years, right? It came out in 2001. That's when it was released. Okay, we're coming up on 20 years when that was released. So a lot of these games we haven't played for 15 years. That was half a lifetime ago for me. And fans want to replay these games because a lot of us grew up playing the GameCube and we remember all of these titles. And you got a lot of really great titles on the GameCube. You got Wind Waker, Melee, Luigi's Mansion, Mario Sunshine, Metroid Prime, Pikmin, Zelda Twilight Princess. The list goes on and on. And fans want to replay these titles because it's been about 15 years, almost 20 for certain titles. That's where you would add value, right? Fans were asking heavily for GameCube titles. You could provide it for them, thus adding value to your online subscription service. So, but it's not just about making your fans happy, Nintendo. You have to realize that there's this rising generation that have not played a lot of these games. They haven't a lot of them haven't even seen a Super Nintendo or a 64. A lot of these gamers today on your console started with the Wii. If you're my age, you kind of start to feel a little old. So with this rising generation, you want to inspire them. You want them to play with these classic games so that they can see where games were before and how we got to where we are today. It's inspiring them. It's getting them exposed to classic titles. I'm a big movie buff, and I love going to the cinema, and I love looking at all these movies and watching them, and I go see everything, not just the big action superhero movies. I go see indie titles. I go see random directors that I really like that nobody really knows much about. And in order to have an appreciation for these movies, sometimes you have to go watch the classics to kind of see where a lot of the influence is pulled from with current directors. And it gives more meaning, more insight in these current movies. And the same goes for video games on these classic consoles. Gamers would have a greater appreciation for the games they played if they had access to these classic titles. Now, previously on the Wii and the Wii U, you had to purchase individual titles. That was a hard pill to swallow, especially when there's a lot of people who bought them on the Wii and then tried to transfer them to the Wii U and found out that we couldn't do that. That was hard. These games should be part of the online subscription. You have a lot of the main consoles, NES, Super Nintendo, 64, GameCube, and if you allow us to play those games as part of the online service, that would add a huge value. In fact, I think you would see a significant increase in subscriptions if you add a virtual console to your online subscription service. Now, I like what you're doing with programming these old games to allow multiplayer functionality. That's genius. Don't stop doing that. But what you could do is this. Upload the virtual console. Pause on reprogramming these old ones. Upload the virtual console. Then go back and update the games. And you could make a huge fuss about this, right? You could come out with a Mario game on GameCube or whatever, Melee. You could have Melee and release like, hey, you can now play Melee online with your friends. That would be big news. So you can continue to add value to your subscription service by reprogramming those games like you currently are to allow online multiplayer functionality. I have a dream that you will add Virtual Console on the online subscription service. I have a dream that I'll be able to play these classic titles for $20 a year. And I have a dream that I'll see GameCube titles in the Virtual Console.